Ask anyone who's conquered an addiction, and they'll tell you that the worst thing for their health and well-being would be for them to have unfettered access to whatever they were addicted to. For example, if someone who struggles with an addiction to alcohol had ready access to alcohol, well, that's not going to be a good situation. Along the same lines, if someone close to that person encourages the alcohol consumption or is at least very permissive of the alcohol consumption, that's not good either. That's enabling, we may say. It's not truly a loving thing to that person to allow or encourage this vice that's not good for them, that's killing them. If you truly love this person, you would want a better life for them and a better future for them. And so you would do what you could to help them, which might mean doing things that are unpopular or not received so well, at least not at first. But ultimately, in the end, it was for their good. That concept of not always encouraging or not always being permissive could be characterized as discipline. Properly speaking, discipline is this: the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior with punishment or other undesired consequences for those failing to comply. And we should add to this definition that true discipline is done with love, meaning that the agent of discipline has what is best for the recipient of that discipline on his heart. True discipline is never carried out with a joy in inflicting pain or with a tone of revenge or with a selfish heart. True discipline is selfless and carried out with love. The Bible speaks about this, about God disciplining of us. And so we know a few things about God. God is perfectly loving, and He specifically loves us so much and wants what's best for us, not just in this life, but eternally. That's the heart of our God. We, on the other hand, are born sinful, but we have a sinful nature that desires the exact opposite of what God desires. Our sinful nature doesn't care about the eternal salvation of our souls. Our sinful nature desires things that are harmful for us. Now, knowing this about ourselves, we can say that the most unloving thing that God could do would be to leave us to indulge our sinful natures unrestrained. The most unloving thing that God could do would be to permit everything and discipline nothing. That would certainly lead us down a path to certain destruction. But God loves us so much that He disciplines us. Listen to Solomon's wisdom here. He says, "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline and do not resent His rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those He loves. As a father, the son He delights in." This discipline may happen in a lot of different ways. The Lord may work in a lot of different ways. He might work through different life circumstances to humble us and bring us close to Him or back to Him. The Lord may work through a fellow believer who comes to you sharing a hard truth that you needed to hear. He may use these sorts of things. However, we know for sure that He disciplines us with His Word. From His Word comes the law that exposes my sinfulness, condemns it, and convicts my heart. Not with the intent of crushing me or removing joy, but with the intent to lead me to joy, to lead me to the gospel. He crushes us with the law so that in our humility, with a full knowledge of our unworthiness, we can actually hear the beautiful message of the gospel. That God brought the greatest discipline down on His own Son, who didn't deserve it, so that you could be saved, redeemed, and restored. That firm faith in Jesus and what He did leads us to embrace Solomon's wisdom, to not despise the Lord's discipline, but even to rejoice in it, because it means that He loves you. And its aim is to bring you back to Him where there is true blessing.